Beefcake.
Beefcake.
Number 11.
Number 11, what's up?
Number 11, Beefcake. You haven't read this yet, have you?
Which one is it?
That Dog Really Does Bite.
I did. I read it yesterday.
You did? That makes me so happy.
Yep.
It makes me happy when you read my blogs.
Yeah. You do a great job. Since we talked about compliments last time, you are a very good writer.
I appreciate that.
And what I admire about it is it seems like you have like this never-ending well of content.
Thank you very much.
Like for me, like if I sit down, like I would love to write. I guess our friend Lisbeth said, you know, if you want to be a writer, if you wanted to be a writer, you would be writing, right? But,
correct.
So I guess I don't really want to be a writer, but I admire it, and I love writing blogs. But I'll sit down, and it'll take me literally 2 days to write one blog.
I go the opposite.
Yeah.
I sit down and going in one direction, and I don't even touch on what I sit down to start blogging about. And then the next thing you know, I'm off in outer space, and I can't cut it off. And there's too many words, and it gets too long. And nobody has time to read a bad novel, a bad grammarly novel. My grammar's lacking. I need to keep it up about 600 words, something like that, 500 or 600 words, and I wake up and it's 2,000 words.
Yeah. At one time I did that. I did a little challenge where it was like you write 500. You have to write 500 words every day, and that was a challenge for me.
I remember you doing that. That was just when I started blogging.
Right.
But speaking of poor grammar, this blog talks a little bit about that. It's basically talking about my being a cheater. I've always kind of been a cheater. I cut corners. I take the lazy way.
But I kind of felt like that was, I feel like there's a negative tone when you say cheater. But what you're describing, I feel like is not cheating. It's just cutting corners.
Well, and that's kind of what I was going for. Yeah. I was kind of going for, as much as I would like to believe that I just kind of cut some corners and take some easy way outs. At the end of the day, it very much is cheating. You know, you can call it what you want, but, you know, if you cheat, you're a cheater. And the way that I would be categorized is a cheater. And I have been historically. If we're playing a game of basketball and it's 20-14, you're winning.
Uh-huh.
And then you say 20-18, let's go. I'll take that extra 4 points.
Okay, well, that's cheating.
That's cheating. Well, I tell you what else is cheating is, you remember like the TI-82 calculators in school?
Yeah.
I used to spend so much time programming those calculators to where I would have the answers to my tests.
Really?
As opposed to just studying for the test itself. I'd probably spend twice the amount programming the damn things.
Right, but the act of, so let's say you ask me how to cook eggs, and I don't know how to cook eggs, so I go to Google and search for it, and I say, this is how you cook eggs. That wasn't cheating.
No, well, this isn't exactly like trying to cook some eggs. I was going to get a grade.
That's what I mean. It just felt like what you're describing here is cutting corners, and I don't feel like that's the same thing as cheating.
Programming the answers ahead of time into your calculator.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Or I would take little pieces of notebook paper and I'd write really, really small.
That's cheating.
That's totally
But what
cheating.
I'm saying is, how about this? I could cut my lawn with a lawnmower that doesn't have a motor in it, or I can use a lawnmower that has a motor. That's not cheating. That's just being
Well,
efficient.
you're not. Are you comparing mowing your lawn to taking a test?
I'm trying to.
If you're trying to talk me down from being a cheater,
I think
I
doing.
appreciate what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to say, stop calling yourself a cheater.
But I'm not, you know, on the ledge of a building or anything. I just think the reality of it is that's, you know, you got to call a spade a spade.
I guess you do clarify what you said. I don't actively cheat at this stage of my life.
Well, you got to pull them in somehow.
But I definitely have the ability to cheat.
I definitely have that inside of me.
Okay.
And I also go on to talk about how I like to break rules, or I just break rules, and how I don't like rules and why I don't like rules, and how that my disdain for rules probably has something to do with my insecurity. I feel like it's people telling me what to do, and I feel like people have to tell me what to do because I'm dumb. So how's that?
Yeah. I mean, I totally get that about you for sure.
And
like,
so
I know that I shouldn't tell you how to do something.
That's right. Amanda and myself and my mom and the kids were going on vacation, and we were talking about the attitude that I get when I perceive that somebody's trying to boss me around. And my mom said, I've always been a rule follower. I feel like the rules were designed to keep me safe. I respect the rules. And I thought, wow, I've never really thought about it like that. Like, I've never really thought about the safety involved in rules and how rules come about, which shows how shallow thinking I can be.
Right.
I really I can think in a very shallow way for the things that are important, and then the things that aren't important, I dive like way down the rabbit hole.
Uh-huh. What's the rule? What's the one rule that drives you the most crazy?
The word need. Well, that's not a rule. If someone tells me what you need to do,
right,
as soon as I hear need, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I can take a suggestion might be to do this, or what I like to do is this, or I've seen other people do this.
Right.
When someone says you need to, conversation is over. Probably relationship is over.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not really relationship.
But I can also see that, yeah, get out of my life. Go away. I can see that that's also like a flaw in the person delivering that rule to you.
You think? I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you ever want to tell somebody something, it's always better to say, you know what, I've had seen some real success doing X, Y, and Z.
I think there's a lot of arrogance that goes into thinking you know what someone else needs to do.
Right. What you need to do
to be more like me.
Right. If you want to be like me, what you need to do.
And why in the world would you think that I want to be like you is what you want to ask the person.
Right.
Are you a rule follower?
Am I a rule follower?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I want to say that I am.
I think it's safe to say you're not a cheater, or that you're not going to admit to being one, seeing as how you compare mowing your grass to cheating on an exam.
I don't believe that I'm a cheater.
I don't think you are.
I can safely say most of these questions that come up on here, I feel like I'm like the most middle ground, boring person, but I feel like I'm not a cheater. I can say that. Like I actively try to not be a cheater.
No, I think that you being a middle ground person is the opposite of boring. I find it fascinating that you are so middle ground because I have to be extreme, one way or the other. I have to be extreme yes or extreme no. And so being middle ground that's exciting to me. I think that would be pretty awesome.
But I do like rules, I think, as well.
Do you cut corners?
But I don't. Yeah, but again, it goes back to I think cutting corners can be good sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think it's always a bad thing to try to figure out the best way to do something or save time. Like, I don't see that as cheating. But we just finished 2 hours trying to figure out how to make 2 microphones go into 2 different tracks on a mixer, and it frustrated the hell out of both of us. I would love there to have been a clear and precise list of rules for us to follow to make that work like we wanted it to. Instead, we just found a whole bunch of crap from stupid people on the internet.
And it was really unnecessary. We didn't even need it to begin with.
We really didn't need it to begin with, but I would have loved a list of rules that I could have said, okay, here's what we're going to do. 1, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and it's going to work exactly like we want it to.
Let me ask you this.
That makes me happy when...
If it would have been on the internet and said, for $2, here's your answer, it really belongs to Microsoft, but this is a safe link, or it belongs to Apple or whoever. It's a safe link, and if you give me $2, you can have it, and the problem be solved. Would you go that route?
I'm not likely to go that route.
Okay. I totally would.
Yeah.
except for
I can see that.
today I'm working a program that demands rigorous honesty, so I'm completely on the other side. Like I'm obnoxiously on the other side of, if a toothpick fell out of my pocket, I would get on my hands and knees and search to find where it was because that's my trash.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to live that way, and I find that's really difficult.
Yeah.
I find it's hard for me. Do you remember Evil's House of Cheats? You ever heard of that?
I don't think so.
When I was in college, there was Evil's House of Cheats. The internet was still new, really new.
Yeah.
And you could go on there and you could find papers that you could type in whatever subject you were looking for.
Yeah.
And these papers had already been graded and had the teacher's comments on there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did that for an English paper. And I spent probably 3 hours trying to find the English paper that I wanted to use.
Did you edit it at all, or did you just take? Okay.
Well, I mean, pretty much. I copied and pasted, and I don't know that I did a whole lot of editing.
Uh-huh.
But, I had to find the right one on topic and that fit the specifications of the assignment. And I also had to find the right grade. I mean, if I went in there and turned in an A+ paper, she's going to know I'm not an A+ kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I got one that had a B-. And, turns out that was like a junior in high school that wrote that. So in college, that got me a D+.
Nice.
And like I said, it took me probably 3 hours to find the right paper when I could have written the thing in an hour, an hour and a half. The title of this blog is That Dog Really Does Bite. And my point is that all these things have come back to bite me in the ass. For real, bite me in the ass in a very comical fashion. And it's very clear that is what's happening. For me to cheat on a English assignment, I was sure I was never going to use English.
Yeah.
Here I am. I spend a great deal of my time blogging.
Right.
And I don't know where to put a question mark and a comma.
So it turns out it would have benefited you. It would have been a benefit for you to have spent that 2 or 3 hours writing that paper instead of cheating.
A huge benefit. And not to mention my mom was a senior English teacher. It's not like I didn't have the resources. My brother majored in journalism. So I'm 2 phone calls away from 2 of the people that are closest to me in my life, but yet I want to do it my way. And another story that I talk about in the blog is, do you ever have to do a leaf collection?
I don't think so. I'm sure I probably did in elementary school or something, but I don't remember.
In 4th grade, we had to do a leaf collection.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, I didn't do mine.
Right.
And it was due the next day. And my brother, who's very studious, he had done a leaf collection, I guess, years before, earlier that year. I don't really remember. But anyways, I stole his. And so what I was going to do was take his leaves and transfer it over to my paper. So I was very carefully and delicately pulling off the tape or whatever on the corner of the leaves and trying to put it on different construction paper. Mm-hmm. And my mom came to the door, and I heard that.
She busted you.
What are you doing? Why's the door locked? I was like, oh, man. So, being the big tough guy that I am, I immediately just started bawling, crying. She makes me go the next morning and fess up to my 4th grade teacher, Miss Bailey.
Oh, no.
Yes. So I'm sitting there like...
Did you have to bring did you have an assignment, or was it like you're going to get a 0?
No, I was getting a 0. There was no time to get the assignment.
You're getting a 0,
done.
and you're going to have to go tell your teacher.
And you're going to be there in the morning when all the other 4th grade kids are filing into class, and I'm sitting on my mom's hip like bawling, just out of control, tears running all over the place.
And that experience taught you nothing. And
that experience taught me, well, I've only been 13 years in the landscape industry. Tree identification would have been helpful.
No, yeah, there you go.
So maybe I should have done the leaf collection.
Yep.
And I would have a better knowledge and understanding of trees and leaves, and that came around and bit me.
Well, what I meant was you didn't learn because you still went to college and stole a paper.
Right, because that's what I am deep down inside. I mean, these are just a couple of examples. That's just the way that I'm programmed. I don't know. I guess I get a rush out of it. I guess that's part part of what I'm saying is I get a rush out of it. And the other part of what I'm saying is that karma or whatever it is very, very, very real.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it'd be called karma or what you want to call it, but we get what we get coming to us. And I am proof of that. Like everybody that looks at me and says, man, that guy is a legit bona fide asshole. And they say that rightly so. I can tell you, I got it handed to me. You know, in my life, it all came back around. So, and now I feel like I'm on pretty flat ground, and
yeah,
you know, I don't want to cheat anymore. I don't want to do mean things anymore. I just want to exist.
I was trying to think of a time where I got caught cheating, but I was such a terrible student that I don't think I bothered doing the work to begin with.
Yeah, you were a skater, man. There was
no effort at all to even try to cheat. I would have just not done the project.
It would have tipped the teacher off if you turned something in.
Right. This guy is cheating.
Takes your paper and just gives you a 0 and says cheater.
Whatever. I know you didn't.
I would have given you a C if you would have turned nothing in and just had your long bangs and your Vans on and kept your skater attitude.
Right.
But instead you tried to cheat. But you're too lazy to cheat.
Exactly.
But you're not a cheater.
I don't think so.
I've tried to use all of this stuff that's happened to me to make myself teachable.
Yeah.
And learn that often the easier, softer way is the more difficult, time-consuming way. The investment that you put in on the front end can make the long-term benefit much greater. Instead of looking for the instant results, because that's what I do, instant results.
Mm-hmm. Being teachable, like you said, is probably one of the best qualities a person can have.
Yep. Speaking of results, we just talked about results. Watch me segue into this.
Get it.
We have the 3-month
deadlift.
LHRL.
Yes, 3-month deadlift program for people that want to get stronger and have a much bigger deadlift.
With more strength.
Comes
better running.
That's correct.
And you have written an outstanding program,
Thank you.
An outstanding job.
Thank you.
Complete with videos, tutorials, check-ins. It's just really impressive.
Thank you.
I'm really, really, really proud of it. Proud for you.
I'm really, really excited about it because I know that if you are a runner and you're curious about how you can get stronger or even just add strength into your running program, this is for you. If you are a person that is a bodybuilder or maybe you're a CrossFitter or something and you want to run, we've got good stuff coming for you too. So all around good stuff.
And also if you're a cheater, you can just lie about your progress.
That's right.
And nobody's going to know. You can say that you deadlift whatever you like.
That's correct.
So maybe I should do my deadlift cheater program.
What you need to do is buy the program, sit around for 3 months and don't do anything. And then and then 3 months later say, hey, I pulled 400 pounds today.
It's a 3-month permission to not do anything. And you can buy it here at liftheavyrunlong.com/deadlift.
Boom.
And we got to talk about Reddit again because that's my thing.
Reddit.
We have a Reddit subreddit.
We do. r/liftheavyrunlong. So that means you go to reddit.com/r/liftheavyrunlong. And there you'll have it. The front page of the Lift Heavy Run Long subreddit.
Come and subscribe and comment and post stuff and have fun and, feel free to make it yours. And Twitter. I'm all over Twitter right now, so come find us on Twitter at Lift Run Long.
Yep.
And sign up for our email. Boy, I'm asking a lot.
No, you're not. This is good stuff, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to keep asking then. Sign up for my email because it makes me so happy.
Please, liftheavyrunlong.com.
liftheavyrunlong.com.